So this is the final installment in the Speeduino basic tuning guide. At this point, your car would have been running good. You may have a few issues, and in this last episode, we're going to cover the small issues that you may be experiencing and what you need to do to correct them. If you watch, I highly recommend you watch all three of the two before this one, the two parts. It'll give you some guidance as to and some direction as to what exactly we're talking about. And also, this guide is in no way or shape or form meant to make you a professional tuner. I am not a professional tuner myself. I consider guys like Shane T, Xenocron, and those guys professional tuners. Still at a hobbyist level myself. Just have a few years experience doing this, and I just intend on passing on whatever knowledge I have to whoever is willing to learn. So, enough talking, let's get down to business. Okay, so I have the original base map pulled up. Okay, so we're going to assume that your car is already properly tuned. You have a good functioning, relatively smooth VE table, a good idle tune, sorry. So you may be, first issue you may be experiencing is, for instance, well, this will be the more than likely the first one you may get is your car may be idling fine, and then maybe when you turn on your headlights or your fan kicks in or whatever electrical load, AC or whatnot, your FEL ratios gets out of whack. This is where you would go in, injector characteristics, and we spoke about that initially. If you had your injector data, you would have already put it in here. Most injectors you purchase would come with injector data. Speeduino just requires a percentage instead of a millisecond, and that's basic maths to convert it. So basically, with the change in voltages, you need to adjust it so that when the voltage drops, the ECU compensates with some extra fuel, because the injector would require a bit more oomph, to put it simply, to keep your idle stable. So, for instance, if your car is idling at 14.8 volts, if it drops to 12.1, it'll more than likely stumble. It'll probably go lean. So what you would do, you just increase this again by hitting the hotkey Q. You can do this. You can monitor the voltage on the Tuner Studio window and whatnot. Monitor the voltage and just adjust this to get it in the ballpark. If you're unsure about your data, you can keep the 1 second and then just adjust these to get the car working good. Right, next issue. A few of these I won't be able to show you because alright, so injector density. So to put this simply, warmer air contains less oxygen molecules in it, so it requires less fuel to burn. So let's just say ambient temperature is about 20 degrees. So right here, Speeduino won't be adding or removing any fuel to the fuel calculations to get your car running right. As the car warms up, 45, you see it'll be pulling 5 degrees, because 100% means all the fuel from the map, 5%, there would be 9%, and there would be 12%, and so on and so forth. You can adjust this. I usually find these are a bit too aggressive. I adjust it to suit my needs. I usually end up somewhere around 60 degrees. I usually end up pulling about maybe 10%. Maybe about 5 to 7%. 60 degrees, because my car is turbocharged. It almost never goes above 42 degrees Celsius. Again, you play with these settings to get your car running right. Next up, what else do we have? Okay, acceleration enrichment. This one, I have a video already covering that, so I'm not going to touch on that. I'm going to link the video down in the description. What you may have encountered with acceleration is during the... Okay, back up a bit. So, what I do for acceleration enrichment is during initial tuning, I just set my TPS dot to as high as it can go. So, the threshold. I set that to, I believe it can go very high, so you set that to 400 or whatever, so that it almost never activates the axle enrichment. After that, you go back in and then you tune that. During tuning, if this is off, what you would find your car stumbles if you stop the throttle very quickly. That's one of the most common symptoms of poorly tuned acceleration enrichment. Again, I already have a video covering that. Your here, at this point, you can go in and then this will be off when you started, so you can go in. I find the simple mode for Speeduino does not work very well, so you go into here, you can turn on your car, turn on your PID, set it to PID, and then you can go through this. I would start if ignition events number that's really high. I would start with something like 20 or 40. 15 is good. You would set the AFR correction range to whatever range that your wideband actually operates in. So you can set this to like maybe above 11 volts and 11 FAL ratios, and below maybe 18 depends on your FAL ratio. You would set this to 70 degrees Celsius, since this is when the car is fully warmed up. The active above RPM, this is the RPM where you would set it. The closed, this is basically closed loop. So if you set it below your idle, then you'll have closed loop targeting your entire fuel map from your idle going up, and it'll try to make corrections to get it to work with your FAL ratio target table. Some people set it above the idle. It's up to you where you set it. And this is the mark above this throttle, 70%. You go into open loop. So at wide open throttle, you won't be chasing closed loop. You won't be using closed loop. So again, it's up to you if you want to do that or not. The delay, I'll leave that at that, and then you play with these PID settings to get it working good. I generally don't use this setting at all. Very rarely do I do, because I usually get the mark pretty dial. But again, these are some of the small stuff that you may want to play with. What else? Okay, on the spark, your IAT retard. Again, this is just like the compensation table for the temperature, but this one we are just in ignition advance. Same concept. As your attempts go up, you want to start pulling time in, right? Because hotter inlet air temp contains less oxygen, so it needs less advance to light. So again, this will be completely up to you to decide how you set it. Cranking setting. The base settings are pretty good. Let me see. Yeah, the base settings are pretty good. I would not mess with that too much. Priming pulse width. These are a bit insufficient for me. I would go in here and I'd probably start with something like maybe 4, and from here 3, 2, and maybe 1.5 here. I usually like to have a bit extra fuel in my map when I'm starting up. It usually makes for quicker startups than having it really lean. Again, you can experiment with that. All of these just makes your car start up a lot quicker. Warm-up enrichment, we covered this throughout the tuning process, so you already know what this is. And after start enrichment, the default settings, well, you have two tables. This one here is the amount of enrichment. This is just after your car starts. You have a preset percentage increase to your table to keep the car running for a little while. It's a little boost, and then after that it decays, it turns off. I find the stock, well, those in the base map are a bit aggressive, so 70, I would take that down to maybe something like 25 here. At 40, I would take it to maybe 20, and there I would take it down to 15, and there I'll probably take it down to 10. And for the time, what exactly is in there? The time can stay for now. We have 40, we have 15 seconds, 8 seconds at 40, 8 and 3. This can work for now. It's just the amount that was a bit extreme. And at that point, you can go in and play with your launch control. Settings are pretty self-explanatory. And then if you have your VVT, you can start playing with your VVT control, your boost control, your nitrous, and all the accessories. But for the most part, what you may need to touch on is just your density corrections, your air temperature corrections. These would be just about the only things you need to iron out, and then keep ironing out your map, and that would essentially be it. The more advanced part would be going into your timing table and then pushing timing, laying out your mix again. As long as, well, at that point I would highly recommend you take it to a dyno or you let a professional do it for you. If you're unsure of what you're doing, just keep it relatively rich and relatively retarded and you should be fine. Okay, I'll put some clips in at the end of this. Well, I think I'm just about done, so I'll put some clips in of my car driving around. Again, my FEL ratios are pretty good. They're within about I would say 3/10, 2/10 to 3/10 of my target. I will be playing that some more over the next couple of days, but for the most part it's fine. Warm-up enrichment, what we can see is idling a bit leaner, getting closer to our target. So that's one of the things, like I said, you keep working on over the next few days. So I'm gonna remove some fuel from the warm-up table and a little bit from the idle portion when it's fully warmed up, and then we're gonna try again the next day. Alright guys, so that's just about covers it. So at that point your car, if you will go for everything and you understand what they do and then you adjust it slowly, so you save your map before you make any big changes, so you can always have something to fall back on. Your car should be running fine. Again, it may not be the quickest because to extract everything out of your car would usually require some experience or some dyno time, learning to pull plugs, reading plugs and whatnot. But for the most part, your car should be able to start on a cold day, idle just fine, drive to work, make some decent power if you boosted, make boosts, and pretty much be safe. I highly recommend if you're unsure what you're doing, you take it to a professional. Again, anything you need, you just reference the previous parts in the series and then you should have everything you need to get your car working just fine. I'd like to thank all you guys who have pretty much made it through the end of the series. Thanks for all the comments, the subscriptions, support and everything. I really appreciate it, guys. I really enjoyed making this series, so I'm hoping that you guys have fun with your projects, and then I like to see videos from more guys using Speeduino and whatnot, and basically let's see this thing grow. I do provide tuning assistance. I do remote tuning for just about pretty much on any platform, but I usually like the Megasquirt AEM and Speeduino ECUs, so I'm most comfortable with that. But I'm always up for a challenge, so I'll also leave my email down in the description so you can contact me if you need any remote tuning services. That just about covers it, guys. So till next time, stay safe.